Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic red day here. We're going to talk a little bit about Cardano, see how much lower it could possibly go, and or if we will see a recovery here. Based on Elliott Wave, if this is our third and final height, and we have effectively established our lowest low, then we should be able to see a higher high. Okay, it's basically the tentative idea here so far for this coin. Now, we never want to take a trade based on that, but hypothetically, we are in a decent position here still, although I would not say this is great by any stretch. Okay, you do got to recognize Bitcoin is still having a massively bad day. It keeps retracing, keeps pulling back, and isn't showing any signs of slowing down. So if you're curious about my thoughts on Bitcoin, be sure to watch my video there. I did upload that basically an hour ago, but generally speaking, we're just going to focus on Cardano, see what's going on in the back end here as well. See what's up there. So if you're new to the channel, just know I love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something today. Link down below for cryptocash.tech. That's my website. If you want to register to become a premium member and or just generally learn to become a better trader, I have a Trading Academy, community, and signals group. Link down below. All right, so let's check about. Okay, so shorts are doing pretty well right now. Shorts at 64. We got a large concentration there. All the longs that were kind of long at about 56 cents got wiped out. Now, we have a long open right now, but it's a low leverage, low position size, and we're still in the game. That's the great thing about low leverage. You don't get liquidated quite as fast. It's still a possibility, but again, we use a stop loss in place well before we get liquidated, if that were to happen. In fact, complete transparency, we got a stop loss on Terra Classic at 63%. Again, a liquidation would have been 100%. Okay, so again, all good though. We hedged our long with some shorts there with Chainlink and a few others as well. SHIB 30%. And I think we took, there we go, Avalanche 111% there as well. So again, all well and good, guys. Try not to worry about it. Just make sure you stick to the plan. We'll be fine. That said, let's go ahead and talk about the other liquidation levels. There's not a lot of late longs here so far, but we do have some longs roughly at about 50 cents. So right now, at this point, I think 51 cents is the potential area of retracement. I'm not saying we're going to get to that level, but we wicked all the way down there, and a lot of times these liquidity levels can be reswept. So we'll discuss that here in a moment, but there's an upper level of liquidity, of course, that could be taken care of later. But for right now, all eyes is on the price going down further. Let's talk about reasons why it may continue lower and or why it may not. So speaking of a fair value gap here on the daily, we can see 46 to 54 cents in that range. We're about halfway through. These are not always filled instantly, okay? It doesn't always just come down there and bounce. But it does tell us that the price jumped up so quick there that there's a likelihood of that eventually getting filled at some point, okay? So again, fair value gaps are typically partially filled a few times here and there. So there's a possibility we will see that continue lower. Right here, we can't really see any bearish activity per se, because all charts look the same here right now. Massive overextensions leading into retracement. So RSI is treading water there at 70. We'll see if that holds. That's a potential bouncing point. But the truth is here, things are looking like the price wants to pull back further. However, we're still above moving averages here. We're still in good shape. So we really don't need to consider the sky is falling at this point, but we do got to recognize that there's potential for downside. Okay, that's just kind of the reality of it. But honestly, the daily time frame is it's such a slow moving average, if you will, or such a slower time frame that you can really only identify those trends and those reversals in smaller time frames. So let's go ahead and focus on the 4 hour here and see what I'm talking about. So we can kind of see here, we got the 100-day SMA, 50-day SMA, this is orange one here. Being above that is important. We're now below the 20, which really just tells us that we got to open our eyes and pay attention. This bullish trend could be discontinuing, or that we're just going to be stuck in range-bound activity for a while until we have a bullish or a bearish trend, okay? So right now, we can establish and understand that we are somewhat in a bearish trend, but we don't necessarily want to, worry too much about it just yet. However, we got to recognize it is absolutely a thing. Okay, again, a lot of this is based on Bitcoin, okay? We got to recognize Bitcoin's having a bad day, still having a bad day, and until that occurs or that dissolves, we may not see this price recover. This is fairly consistent here. If you look at, just say, Solana, for example, it's somewhat recovering. Avalanche is doing fairly well, all things considered, but Cardano is not. That speaks to the strength of the coin or lack of strength, and its alignment with Bitcoin, letting us know if Bitcoin pulls back and continues, then of course we'll see the same thing for Cardano. So I'm paying attention to this. Again, we do have a swing trade open right now. We got a nice average position. We're not too far in the red, honestly. So we're going to find out here soon what's going to happen. But a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin's success or lack thereof. All right. And again, keep in mind, Fed meeting this week. There's a lot of the reasons why we want to be mindful of some back end stuff happening as well. Okay. So we take a quick look here at 0.5 Fibonacci. That's not really holding so far, but we wicked down there 2 or 3 times at this point. So if we close below that level, that could imply we might see a further correction down to 0.618. MACD is diverging. We got stochastic RSI trying to converge a second time. That's usually a good buy signal. And then of course we got the money flow index extremely low. When MFI comes down, it's usually a good buying point. So just to give you perspective here, same thing with Solana, we saw this as well, where we got a second stochastic swing and a money flow index extremely low. We saw the price action at this level right here before it rallied back up and inevitably continued upwards. Okay, so again, this little rally here is what we could see moving forward with this type of sentiment. I only like to highlight that because people kind of are asking about, like, what's the potential of the price action, continuing higher from here or bouncing? That's a possibility, but again, we don't take trades based on that one thing. We take trades based on confirmation, which we do not have right now, okay? We do have confirmation, of course, that the volume profile is at 60 cents roughly, or 59.50, and that the price action has that as a resistance. So the price does recover. We'll see an initial rejection there to potentially maintain this downtrend, okay? So again, until this downtrend is broken, we got to presume it's going to continue. If we take a look at the hourly here, this is where we can really see that confirmation that a long position is not viable. So take a look at this here. Ichimoku cloud, price is below the cloud, as you can see, averaging itself out with a trend line. We can also see that the conversion line is below the baseline. That's a bearish sign, and the lag and spend is free and clear of the price action. So if you have a long position open right now, you pretty much either shouldn't, or you got to consider, again, very low leverage to ensure that you can sustain this kind of dip. That said, a short position is viable because we are free and clear in all 3 areas. So we got 3 out of 3 reasons to leave your short position open if you have one, and 3 out of 3 reasons not to consider opening a long, okay? I want to emphasize that. Do not consider opening a long. I know I highlighted a couple of little factors on the 4-hour time frame that might be bullish or potential reversals, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. We got to wait for Bitcoin to stop having a bad day. It's being very manic today, and it's, again, one of those situations where it's a strong likelihood it's going to be the Fed meeting. Okay, so we talked about this earlier. We got the Fed meeting coming up here in a couple of days. Basically, the 13th, they're going to provide us with some results there, and that basically tells us here that if we hit the target of 5.25 to 5.5%, then rates stays the same. The price action of Bitcoin will stabilize, and we'll be in good shape. If the price continues lower, or just say inflation is higher, then we're going to be in a situation where the price action might continue to drop. And Cardano, so far, aligning itself with Bitcoin, is probably going to drop with it. Okay, you can see a correlation here, can you not? Very, very similar behaviors. Okay, so again, that's just kind of where we're at there so far. At this point, I think no trade is a good trade. Please be patient. Please recognize that it's okay to stay on the sidelines until things bottom out or level out. And you're going to miss some opportunities. Say I think this is the bottom, the price shoots up tomorrow. I don't really care. I'm not being insensitive. It's just that you cannot take emotions and apply that to trading. And why waste your time and effort on trying to force a trade? We've identified a lot of reasons not to take a trade right now. Okay? Again, just some friendly advice. Last but not least, make sure you join the best exchange possible in the US and Canada and the world, obviously. They have no VPN, no KYC, and with the requirements of BingX and a few other larger exchanges requiring VPNs, it's just a matter of time before they KYC soon. So please understand this exchange is phenomenal. You get some good benefit rewards if you decide to use my link to register. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again so much for watching. Again, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.